Hey, good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Happy Friday, Exam Prep Friday. My name's Paul Abernathy. Thanks for joining me, taking time out of your day, grabbing your local cup of coffee, whatever blend you may like, and joining me for a little bit of morning electrical as we talk about all things electrical on this show. So today we're going to be doing some exam prep questions again out of our database. And again, we have over 800 questions in our database, so some may be repetitive, but we'll go through it and look at them. But again, it's also in the morning allows you to tell me who you are, where you're from, what you may have run into, and what's going on in your world so that we can share with everybody else. Again, that's what this show's about. It's not just about doing exam prep questions. So thanks for joining me, getting started to your day, whether you're headed out to the job site, maybe you're on the job site early. Maybe you're in California and you're already up and it's like crazy early. Either way, thanks for taking your time to join me. As always, let me know who you are, where you're from, and if you're a fast track student, let me know. And we'd love to hear from you. Have you involved into the show this morning? So what do we got here? Charlie is up early. Charlie, welcome to this. Yes, absolutely. Thanks for joining me today. What do we got? Paul's joining me this morning. Do you hear music? I don't know. Did you hear Jeopardy music coming in? Again, I told you I would get it, and so I did it. So I think you could hear it. I wasn't sure. Good morning, Adam. Let the Jeopardy games begin. Begin the flow. Absolutely. And then we're here. We're at the weekend. We got to get through today. Then we got the weekend. seems to flow pretty darn quick now that I work out of the office here in Virginia. It's like I never have enough time and the weeks just blow by. So that just kind of reminds you that life is just one big blur, right? That it's just going to come and go. And so enjoy life to your fullest. What's up? Good morning, Crypto. Thanks for joining. Dominique, thank you for joining. Welcome to the show. Who we got here? We got Dan. Thank you, Dan. Thanks for joining me from Chile, probably Chile, Chicago, I'm sure. And that's Matt from Minnesota. Thank you, Matt. It's got to be chilly up in Minnesota. I can promise you that. All right. Good morning, everybody. Welcome again to the show. A couple updates I'll tell you before we get started. Let's see. Hope we got some more people coming in here. Edgar, thanks for joining, Edgar. And there's Red Dog is in the house. Buenos dias from Los Angeles. Definitely a fast track student checking in, getting ready for his journeyman's test. All right, you're going to nail it. Stay focused, stay laser focused. So we're going to look at some questions today. Before we get started, I will say a couple things. Number one, we did add a new blog. So if you haven't checked out our blogs, make sure you check them out. They're over on our website. They're free, and there's quite a few of them, and they're all different topics. And some of them can be very beneficial for exam prep as well. The last one that we just launched, just went out, was talking about metal wireways and non-metallic wireways and cross-sectional area. What's a cross-section? Like a slice of bread, and anything that passes horizontally through that slice of bread is passing through that cross-sectional area of the loaf of the bread, the wireway, that type of thing. We're more concerned about the depth in the width than we are the length, because length is just affording us more room. But when you talk about a cross-sectional area, it's just basically like taking a loaf of bread and taking a slice out of it and then looking at the side. So we talk about that. So that's the latest blog. It's free. All my blogs are always free, so check them out. And then, of course, we got plenty other blogs as well that you can scroll through. And they're really easy to get to on your mobile phone. So if you have our mobile app, which again is free, just go over to our website to get it. Mobile app is on our website. Just go get it. Or you can go to necchat.com. It's necchat.com. You can go there too and get the mobile app as well. Either way, if that's easier for you to remember. Or if you're just a hater and you don't want to go to my website, you say, I'd be damned if I'm going to go to Paul's website. I'm not going to go to his website. That's okay then. You can go to necchat.com and you can get it as well. Okay, that makes you feel better. Okay. All right. Well, thanks for joining me today on this episode. Let's go on and get into some exam prep questions, and then we'll dissect them out. We'll determine whether we need to use the index or not. I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time in the index. I did an episode yesterday, so if you missed it on the 23rd, which is Thursday, I did an episode where I extensively went through the index specifically for a question that I knew would be hard to find the answer as far as using the index. And why did I do that? It's because I don't want people to think the index is the holy grail. And a lot of times you can't use like the Tom Henry's or the firm's Fast Finder, whatever. You're not allowed to use those in a lot of exams. So I don't want people to think the index is the holy grail, but you should be taking a lot of time on these questions, not worrying about the timer yet. Wait until you get to the last 2 weeks before your exam, right? Before then, just focus on taking a question and literally beating that question to death. That's what I want you to lock in. Just beat that sucker to death, okay? All right. I get your money's worth, I like to tell people, okay? All right, let's see. So we're going over here, and we're going to look. Okay, so here's today's question we're looking at. All right, so again, also remind you. Oh, I should go back and remind you. We are doing giveaways again today for the drawings. It's going to be March 31st, but we have some instant giveaways like some Fast Tracks Tube. And if you won Fast Tracks Tube, I think Kevin from over on LinkedIn, he won it and he's already been activated. Paul, I think you won it yesterday, Montoya. Paul, you got to go there and get a free account, a members count. It's the free one, not the $99 one, free one. And then I'll see it and I will upgrade you. Or Jeff will upgrade you. Either one will upgrade you. And then Anthony, I don't think Anthony's done it yet. He had a Fast Tracks 2 from the other day on the 22nd. So Anthony, if you're in here, make sure you go get that account so we can upgrade you and you can get to enjoying all of the goodness over on Fast Tracks Tube. Also, we are streaming over on Fast Tracks Tube. So give me an update, folks. Let me know how that's streaming. And we're good to go. So of the giveaways that you're registering for today, so make sure you're aware, we'll be giving away a drawing for a free Fast Tracks Enhanced Exam Prep course 2023, a free grounding and bonding course for 2023, also a Mastering the NEC, which is for people that already have their license and all. It's just a really good consultant in your pocket type of program. So that's Mastering the NEC. So we'll be giving away 3 of those. But we'll also be giving away a bidding and estimating course by one of the best. Steve Griffin is probably one of the best estimators in the country, and he's written books on the subject, and he is the author of the Best Bid Hybrid. Okay, so he is going to be giving away a really extensive course for that. And of course, the piece de resistance is going to be giving away a over $3,000 value Best Bid Next Generation estimating software. That's huge. That was all made available thanks to Steve Griffin over at the Best Bid Hybrid. And he watches the show. He enjoys it. And he's a friend of mine. And he's like, look, go on and give away one. So I said, we'll do it. We'll give away to our loyal followers. Originally, it was only going to be to people that have actually bought a course from us. But the more I thought about it, it's one of those things that, you know, we want to give something away to people that engage income. So you'll be in the drawing for that. Now, if you win the Fast Tracks tube, you'll get that instantly. Just go register for your account and we'll get you updated. Okay. All right. So I want to get all that groundwork out of the way. Bathrooms on the left, exits on the right, that type of thing. Okay. For craps and giggles. Absolutely. Laughs and giggles. Okay. Let's see who else we got up in here before we get into today. We got TJIs joining us actually over on Fast Tracks 2 portal. Awesome. Thank you. South Alabama. Let's see here. We got Obin. Is that what that is? Odin. Ooh, I'm dyslexic this morning. Odin JB. Good morning. 5 a.m. Ooh, that's early, buddy. Well, we got Charlie over there working great, saying that's the tube is working great. Got Cray. I'll just go you Cray. I'll just say Cray. Cray. Hey ya. Is over. He's working on it over in the YouTube channel. Manny. Good morning, Manning, over on Facebook. Loves that Facebook. Probably the only one that follows me actually on Facebook. So, you know, what's up, Miles? What's up? Good morning. Oh, yeah. Odin out in Los Angeles. Whew. That's early, buddy. That's early. That's commitment right there. But you know what they always say? Well, craziness is cray. Yeah, he said close enough. He's in Nashville. All right. Love me some Nashville. Country music fan, definitely. I like bluegrass music, but a country music fan. Okay. All right. I used to like Eminem until he went kind of weird on me. But, of course, you could say that happened 20 years ago, but that's all right. Hey, welcome today. Let's go on and get into the question. And thank y'all all for taking the time this morning to join me. I appreciate it. Definitely do. All right. Remember, engagement is what gets you on the list. Okay. And if you don't make it today, you got plenty of time. Just come back. But engagement in the questions, answering the questions, asking questions, being involved, that is what gets you on the drawing list, that type of thing, okay? So, okay, Odin's from Nika, San Diego. There you go. Oh, you met me. Oh, you met me when I was out in Nika. That's awesome. Cool. Good deal. Thanks for joining. See, I was a real person. I wasn't just somebody that fakes it on the internet. See that? You actually saw me somewhere. All right. Question. Get your code books out, guys. Conduit or raceways, okay? And by the way, tubing is a raceway as well, like EMT. So just in case people wondered. Conduit or raceways, including their end fittings, shall not rise more than blank inches above the bottom of an enclosure. Okay, so we're going to do a little bit of what I always tell you guys that we do, and this is practicing and training your memory. Read this question, look at it, because we're going to go away from it. But you got to get used to an exam reading a question and then being able to remember some of the key elements here before you look back so that when you're going through your code book, you don't have to keep going back and forth. Okay, so here's what we're thinking. The concept here, and this is why I teach you reading comprehension. Okay, we're talking about the end fittings and the raceways sticking up on the bottom of an enclosure. This tells me this is an open bottom enclosure. That's what it tells me, okay? So that type of scenario. So you think in your mind. Now, rising up above it. So a couple things we got to think about. This is not talking about the actual enclosure itself. Okay, we would be back in 314, right? We're thinking here, okay, this has got to be something to do with the service, switchgear, all that stuff. It just takes some knowledge, right, to do this. So let's go to the chat, see what we got popping up on the screen in the chat. We got to remember what the question was. That trains our memory, right? We're preparing for an exam. We got to start bouncing out those cobwebs. Chris, I didn't see you. Thanks for joining me. Adam, don't know if I yelled out at you, Adam. I saw Adam in there. I wouldn't necessarily say we got to go to the boxes yet. So let's examine this one. Frank's in the house. I see you, Frank. Okay, let's go to the code real quickly and see what we would do with this one. So I'm going to say, for me, if I was looking at this question, I'm thinking it's open bottom enclosure. I'm thinking like switch gears, thinking like that. Now, Adam says go to 314.23. So it might be you might be able to find the answer there too. So we'll go to Adam's first. But my mind is thinking switch gear. My mind is thinking open bottom because it's saying conduit or raceways and their fittings shall not rise more than blankets above the bottom of an enclosure. So immediately you might think, well, maybe I'm thinking 312 or maybe I'm thinking 314. My mind is thinking 408, but it's just where my mind is going. Okay, so in your index, you might look under what? You might look under enclosures, right? You might look under there. You might look under open bottom, okay? Because again, it wouldn't be coming up into the enclosure if it wasn't open bottom, okay? Because typically they would connect to the enclosure. So these are kind of those questions where in a perfect world, you would think they're going to give you a question that gives you everything, but that's not how they write questions. It's not how they write it. So that's why they require you to have a certain amount of knowledge before you sit for an exam. This is why they require a certain number of hours, because there are certain things you got to be able to look at and go, well, what are we talking about here? That type of thing. But I am going to do this today. We're going to, because it's all part of y'all's involvement, right? We're going to go look at 314 first, and then we're going to look at other places, see if we can find this in multiple places in the code. Because my mind's thinking, obviously, if 314 is an enclosure, but my mind's also thinking open bottom. I'm thinking switchboard, switchgear, that type of thing, and the installation that. So all over the places, that type of thing. Ready? Okay, Adam says 12. Okay, and let's see. So he's posted that a couple times. So Adam feels pretty confident. All right, let's go to the NEC. All right, we're at the NEC. So the first thing we'll go to is let's go to and oh, by the way, we do have, I'll share this. We do have the, we did have it here. Hold on now, it's done disappeared again on me. Hold on there. All right, hold on. Not sure where this is. There it is. There it is. I don't know what the heck it happens. Sometimes it disappears. So we do have the index. I don't typically like to use the index on this little page because it's so hard to see. So we'll go back to the code. Okay. So Adam says go to 314. Let's see if that's germane. Now you notice here it says outlet boxes, pull boxes, handhold enclosures, okay, conduit bodies and fittings, outlets, devices, and pull box. Doesn't to me seem like that's what this is, this question, right? Right? It doesn't seem like to me, so that's why I'm teaching you. This is why we're doing this today, because I do not want to focus everything on the index, because people think that's the holy grail. It is not. We have to look at a question and really examine it. And you should be doing this on every question in your database, okay? So in my mind, I'm thinking, okay, I'm looking at this question. There's nothing in here that says outlet box, device box, pull box, junction box. Okay, it is enclosure, right? And so I'm thinking this has to do with more or less switchgear and open bottom, because otherwise, what would it come in through the bottom? You see what I'm saying? You see where I'm trying to go? What is I have to put this up on the screen. He says, I hope we don't get deported before passing the exam. Okay. I'm sorry. At least I'm not showing me on that one. That's good. I like that. All right. So in my mind, I'm thinking open bottom. Okay. So I could go to the index real quick and share this index. And just for craps and giggles, we'll do it one time. And let's see, if I was examining that question, I might go down to enclosures and see what I see. under enclosures if I didn't know. So let's see if there's here. Okay, so here's enclosures right here. Enclosures right here. And I just might go down and see if there's anything. So me. Oops. Okay, so here we go. Open closures, outdoor use. Okay, 408 panel boards. It didn't really tell us anything. Okay, all right. I don't see anything for that type of coming in the bottom, open bottom. So again, not again pointing out it is not the Holy Grail. Okay, it doesn't. Nothing's going to substitute knowledge, right? Knowledge. I see some answers now coming up on the screen. Okay, and so the next thing I might look at under here would be switch gear. If your mind makes you think, okay, we're talking switch gear, right? Or while I'm at O's, I just look at open bottom just to see. Remember what I said, take advantage of everything and go look at everything and just take a chance. Let's see here. Okay. I like to look at every little thing while I'm in here, and you should be doing that too. Okay. And so in this question, dissecting it, again, this is what we told you earlier. This is more of a knowledge-based type question. You have to kind of understand what it's asking. But let's see here. Let me go on down to switch gear, and then we'll get back to the lesson. And this will be the last one I do this with today. So let's see. Let's go down into switch gear. I'm just enamored that I actually got it all working, that it works. So let's see here. If I'm going down to see if there's anything under switch gear, or here's switch gear right here. And I don't really see anything underneath it. So again, I seem to pick a knack for which ones I need to go to. But that's what you should be doing, dissecting every little piece to see what is and what is not in there, okay? And sometimes at the end of the day, that's why they make you have so many hours of code knowledge, that type of scenario. The index, again, pointing it out, not the Holy Grail, okay? All right, so in this case, I'm thinking it's more along the lines, personally, I'm thinking it's, more along the lines of here. And that is switch gear, switchboards, and all this kind of, because this question's more like an open bottom type of question. So I'm going to the scope, and then I'm looking quickly, I'm gonna bold scan it. There you go, switch gear, blah, blah, blah. Supports and arrangement of bus bars. Okay, not really what we're looking for. People are texting me over on the other side. I don't know what that is. Let's keep on getting it. There's description, circuit directory identification. Not really helping. Clearance of conductors entering a bus, entering the bus enclosure. Okay. Let's see here. Oh, here you go. The conduit or raceway, including their end fittings, shall not rise more than 3 inches above the bottom of the enclosure. So in my mind, I've got to think a couple things, because I'm thinking, how the hell do we get there in understanding something, right? So in my mind, I'm sitting there thinking, okay, it's coming in the bottom. The reason that we have a reduced clearance is because once we come in the bottom, we can't have it come up too high. Otherwise, we have a hard time getting to our terminations. So it limits the height that can come in and the fittings. So this says basically their fittings shall not rise more than 3 inches above the bottom of the enclosure. So you have the bottom of the enclosure, it's open bottom, it comes in, it can't go up higher. So you put your fittings with your bushings or whatnot on top of that, and you're limited to 3 inches. Okay, so again, that's a code knowledge. You have to really work your way to get to that answer. But now that we've kind of worked it, you get the feel what we're doing. And the whole point here was to look at the question and say, what is it asking? What is this question? That's what I'm trying to train people to do, is look at a question and go, okay, it's talking about coming in the bottom of an open bottom piece of equipment. Well, I know that 314 is not germane because that's junction boxes, device boxes, outlet boxes. It's not really what we're talking about. And 312 is not really going to be it. So I'm sitting there going, what else could it be? Well, it's coming in the bottom of like a switchboard, switchgear, or panel board, or anything with an open bottom. And so that's why my mind's going to draw me to 408, that type of thing. Okay. All right. So found my Googles. All right. So anyway, let's get back to the lesson question right here. Okay. So we're going to Oops, she's there. And there's our reference 408.5. Nothing like starting on a complicated one. All right, let's go to the next one. All right. Next one is surface mounted incandescent luminaires, light fixtures, okay? Although we call them luminaires, may be installed in a closet on the wall above the door or the ceiling, provided there is a minimum clearance of blank between the luminaire fixture and the nearest point of the storage space. Okay, look at this question. Lock this question in your mind. Most of you probably remember that I did a video on this just probably a week ago. And so what are we talking about? Again, I'm going to take the opportunity to take you away to me and say, all right, we're not looking at the question, but we know what it's asking. It's a surface-mounted incandescent, not a fluorescent, incandescent luminaire. I mean, yes, they still make incandescent lamps, by the way. Everybody's like, they're going away. They still make them. And so don't say guess, Paul. We're not guessing here. So we're looking at saying, okay, I'm going to put it above the door or on the ceiling. And we know that there's a storage space that is 24 inches out, okay? Goes up to the highest bar, right? Or 6 feet. And then it goes out what? 12 inches. If there's a shelf there, if the shelf is wider than 12 inches, then the storage shelf is wider, whatever it is the storage shelf is. If it's not there, then we use 12 inches, and it goes all the way up to the ceiling, okay? And it creates this cocoon around a space in the middle that we can put our luminaire either on the ceiling or above the door. I have a picture of that in my house. Maybe I'll bring a picture, although everybody's got a freaking closet. Interesting factoid. You're not required to have luminaires in a closet. It's surely optional, purely optional, but when you do, you have to make sure you follow these rules, that type of thing. And we all know you can't have an open incandescent lamp in a closet because it could blow and then your filaments could stay hot, and it's near combustible material and all this kind of stuff and clothing and all. So you all know that. All right, so let's we know what the question is, so let's go to the code. And in my mind, I'm thinking, okay, if I was here, I could think, okay, well, first thing I could do is the question is about closed closets. All right. So one thing, it's about closed closets. Also, it's about luminaires, right? And luminaires in a closed closet, that type of thing, because that's what it talked about. So in my mind, I'm thinking, okay, I could go to the index and look under luminaires. I could go to the index and look under maybe something under closed closets because it is a topic. In fact, we're going to do that one. Because again, I got to reprieve the index to show you that at least it does work occasionally. Okay, so we're over here on the index, and I'll share this screen. And let's see, might as well look under closed closet, because that would be your first logical place where you folks may go. I said I wasn't going to do this again, but I mean I am. So let's see here. Okay. Again, struggling to see it, so bear with me. My eyes are terrible. Okay. Closed closet storage space. Okay. 410.16. Here's above that, it says closed closets, luminaires, 410.16. So sometimes the index is beneficial. And so again, many times it will be, but just be prepared that some exam questions, they write them funky, and you just have to be prepared for funky. That's it. That's all we can tell you. The more you study, the more you go through a program like our structured program, you're going to have things just locked in your head. We go extensively over this, but you're going to have things that you don't have to look up. And that's a great thing. But index is there. It's one of those things that you're like, well, at least it's there, and that's a benefit, right? Okay, let's go to the NEC real quick and look this one up. So we said go to 410.16. So let's do that. I'm going to go down here and find it. It's 410, and I'm going to go down to 410.16, and then I'm immediately do my bold scanning and look for what I'm looking for, okay? All right, so there's our 6 feet, there's our 24 inches, there's our 12 for all these storage spaces, right? And then we got this nice little nifty drawing right here. Okay, shows you that 24 inches to 6 feet or to the rod, and then the hanging rod, and then the portion above that is 12. That's if you have a shelf there, it's whatever the width of the shelf is. If you have no shelf there, then you have to assume a shelf of at least 12 inches, okay? That goes up, okay? So the width. So that goes up to the ceiling. So it creates this little cocoon here. And if the door's right here in the front, we're talking about mounting it on the back side of the door, above the door, or in the ceiling in this little space here. And we're trying to determine the distance from this space that we can put that type of luminaire. And everybody's posting. So here we see what types are permitted, okay? And obviously, surface-mounted incandescent or recessed incandescent is fine, okay? As long as that lamp is totally enclosed, right? And then the locations. So in our case, we have a surface-mounted incandescent. So you can see right there, it's 12 inches, okay? Above the door or on the ceiling. So y'all nailed that freaking mamma jamma. That was probably the easiest one you guys will ever get, okay? So 12 inches, and there's your code reference, 410.16d. Nailed it. So, all right, next question. They get tougher here. Let's see here. Okay. Lock this one in your brain, folks. Next question is thermostatically controlled switching devices in combination thermostat and manually controlled switches shall be permitted to serve as both controllers and disconnecting means for electric heat appliances, provided they what? A lot of information in this one. All right, first thing I'll tell you on this question, since y'all can hear me, you don't have to look at my ugly face. First thing I'll look at this one, and this tells me this is definitely something that has to do with the fixed heating, okay? Because it's talking about a heating appliance, electric heating appliance. So in your mind, you got to think, well, this is a fixed space heating equipment. That's just something that you'll get used to looking at, all right? But you could go to the index and look under things like heating, electric heating. You could look under fixed. But I'm just reminding you, folks, there are certain things that in your time, you're going to have to comprehend. And this is obviously talking about a thermostatically controlled heating system, okay, that has both a controller and can be used to serve as a controller and a disconnecting mean for electric heating appliances. So this tells you it very much means that this is some type of fixed heating equipment, right? I mean, that's where it should be sending your mind. Okay, you can go looking at the index all day long. Give me a code reference, Charlie. Let's get a code reference on this. So let's, again, look at this question. The choices are cannot turn on automatically when in the off position. That seems like common sense. Should seem like common sense. The next one are marked with an off position. We're very familiar with that also when we're using a appliance unit switch on an appliance. That's very common, right? And then the third one says open all ungrounded conductors when in the off position. That seems like a common sense thing. The last thing you want it to do is turn off some of the conductors and not all of the conductors that are ungrounded. That seems like common sense. So that's one of those questions that common sense would prevail. You'd look at it and go, shit, all those make sense. Why would it has to be all of the above, right? But we want to quantify it. And we realize that got no code book. Dude, Charlie. Come on. Maybe you're driving. Maybe you're riding. Okay, I'll cut you some slack. All right. So in this scenario right here, when I read this, this speaks to me because of that last thing, electric heating appliance. So this is a fixed space heating. So it would be in 424 is the article. Now, if you know that because you're just savvy, you've been in it, like all of you here are, you're thinking, okay, I'm savvy on this. I get that. I know it's 424, but where in 424? So you might say, well, since I know that it's fixed electric space heating, maybe I'll go to the index for that. And then we're looking for what's qualifying as controller and disconnecting means. So these terms, right? So it might be something where we say, okay, well, let me go to the index and say, well, I just want to look because I know this is fixed heating and space heating, and you should deduct that from reading it based on the questions and the answers. It's talking about a piece of fixed electric heating equipment. So in my mind, I'm thinking, all right, well, let me go to the index if I had to do that and just go under fixed electric space heating. I'm just going to look and see what's under there, okay, and see what we've got. So there's connections. Let's just go while we're here and using it. And again, I'm using this more than I wanted, but it actually is working out. So Thank you again for Joseph for sending me this. So let's see here. Fixed electric heating, that's for pipelines, not what we want. Let's see here. Here we go. Fixed electric space heating equipment right here. Okay. And what we're trying to look for is something that says, so we know that says 424. 424 is not big. Okay. Not big. So we don't have to worry too much about it. And what we're doing is we're looking through and seeing what things we might have. Installation, markings. Okay, here we go. Controllers, disconnecting means. Okay, both of these, 424.20, 424.19, all of this. Notice how all of this looks like it's all in the right same area. Immediately stop, drop, and roll. And I'm going to go to the first one. I'm going to go to 424.19 first. I'm just going there because I can see that everything that I need is right there. So that's how we use the index, okay, to the best we can to get us there. So I'm going to get back to the NEC and drop us back here. And we're going to get to 424. And we're going to go to 424.19 because that's where we wanted to start our journey. And then we're going to bold scan and look for things that are talking about it. Talking about off position, the word off. Those are trigger words that are in there like off, off, off. It seems to say off. We're looking at controller and disconnect. We're looking for those triggers once we get there. So I'm going to go to 424.19. Scroll me there. Right here. Okay. So controller protection, fixed electric space. So here's the disconnecting means. Again, looking for something like the term off. Okay. And we're looking through it. And here we go. Heating equipment with supplemental overcurrent protection. Okay. There, boom, boom. And what I'm looking for is specific verbiages. Okay. And specific things for it. Oops. Here we go. Oops. 19. We're looking through here. Nothing, nothing, nothing. That's the disconnect. Nothing, 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 nothing. Boom. Oh, thermostatically controlled. It was in our question. Thermostatically controlled. Okay. Here's here's where it says for both controller and disconnecting means. That was actually in our question. Boom. Now I'm looking for off because that's a trigger word, off. In the question, the answer is off, off, off. So there's a person marked in the off position. Yes, that was one of ours. Directly opens all ungrounded connectors. Yes. And it says here, designed so the circuit cannot be energized automatically after the device has been manually placed in the off position. Yes, 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 yes. All of the above. Y'all nailed it. So you're thinking, all right, back to the lesson. I think all of you probably nailed that one. It's all of the above. And there you go. 424.20, A1, A2, A3. Now, how did we get here? Again, this is all part of the dissection concept. For us, we looked at it and said, well, we know this is fixed electric heating. You got to learn those things. You could go in the back of the book and fumble through all these things. Okay, you could go and look and says electric heating appliance. You could have gone to appliances and might have had something in there that sent you to electric space heating. Just think if the question's about heating, then it is more than likely if it's a heating question or talks about a heating appliance that it is fixed and it's going to be in 424. Okay. If it's an appliance like a water heater, things like that, you know that you're going to be in 422. And then you're looking about whether it's asking you a general requirement, maybe about the wiring method that's applying it, then you can go to that specific wiring method. Or is it talking about the application? Or is it a general question? And that's going to tell you whether you're in 300, whether you're in the specific wiring method article, or you have to go to this specific appliance, or in this case, to the space heating equipment article. So it just takes time. There's no holy grail. Nothing takes the place of, if you're just starting your journey in exam prep and you think that you're going to go take your exam in a week after you just started, God bless, I hope you pass. But if not, it's a real thing. Studying for an exam is a real deal. Okay. So again, this is just things to be aware of. I see a lot of people gave some references, not accurate. So just make sure you follow the course of logic that we followed just now when we were looking up that question. Okay. All right, let's go to another one. That was good. Y'all did good on that one. All right. All right. Okay, this is a knowledge question. Hopefully you know this. Y'all, I don't need to go into my opinion on whether I think megging is the greatest thing, but a megger is a brand, but it is used for what? Insulation resistance testing, conductance, reactance, or current? What do you think? Remember, participation is what gets you in the drawing to be included. So let's have some participation. Okay. Cray says insulation resistance. Okay. John says insulation resistance. Absolutely. Okay. Not absolutely as that's the answer, but I've just let y'all put me some stuff on the screen and see what we got. Okay, got another one that says insulation resistance. Okay, I'll share these so everybody can see them. There you go, Cray. And there's Charlie throwing it out there. There's John throwing it out there. Miles is pumping the answers out there. Edgar's pumping the answer out there. So, okay, so I think we can safe to say that it is insulation resistance. There you go, TJI. Pumping it out there as well. Over on Fast Track's tube, watching on the tube. All right, so there you go. And that is just a general knowledge question, right? Okay. Yariel. Good morning, Yariel. Watching your videos, the way teaching I can learn. I do plan to buy your products when I am ready to take the test. Remember, our products, if you're 2020 or 2023, they do not expire. So there's no time like the present to get involved in it because you can continually use it and it does not expire. 2017 products expire. 2020, 2023 do not expire. So you can start studying right now and get ready into the database. It never will expire. Okay. All right. That was a great question. Code knowledge question. So you just had to know that one in order to be able to do it. Meggers, be honest with you, people ask me all the time, what's my opinion of a megger? Megger works when the conductors are touching. Meggers don't work very well if the conductors aren't touching the whole way. Like in a PVC raceway, if you have conductors in there and you want to do a meg test on it, you'll get some numbers because of the length and the length of the product, the wires, and you'll get a reading. And maybe that's a reading that makes you feel good and warm and fuzzy if you're an engineer and say, oh, I feel happy with this number. But it's a BS number. Unless the raceway itself is metal, or there is a metal component inside of the raceway that can bring back return current to the meter, it's really hard to get reliable readings on anything that's plastic, okay, if it's a plastic raceway. Now, if it's EMT, rigid, intermediate, then yeah, you can get realistic results on that. Direct bury conductors that you throw out in the ground, the only way you would ever get real readings on any of that is if all those conductors were together tight in a triad, so they're touching the whole way. They're plexed, right? And you had a reliable return path. The Earth is not a reliable return path. So you will get numbers because of the way the sensitivity of these meters. But I'm going to be honest, between me and you and a wire guy and a guy who's put the megger manufacturers on the hot seat before, they're full of crap. So everybody out there that's saying, oh, you got to meet the NETA, 100 mega ohms or less, they don't know what they're talking about. And so people call me daily and I have to explain to them meggers and the fallacy. And I also have emails and conversations with the manufacturers of the equipment that will actually tell you that they weren't designed to detect insulation resistance on conductors unless they were touching the whole way. And even then, it can be problematic. Then it doesn't work in an MC cable because it has a polymeric wrap around the entire thing. Okay, so it may work on the phase-to-phase inside of it, maybe, but it's certainly not going to work to the armor because you have that polymeric wrap. Okay, so at the end of the day, everybody calls for megging, but maybe I'll do a show one day about megging if y'all want it, where I explain all of that, and I even show some of the screenshots of, hey, I ain't no shame in my game. I'll show the manufacturer's screenshots. I tell them up front, I'm gonna call you out if I think you're wrong. Okay, so I expect the same for me. If you think I'm wrong, let's debate it. That type of thing. Okay. Anyway, enough of that preaching. What the hell? I ain't preaching on a Friday. All right, so let's go to the next one. Okay. All right, next. All right, next one is marking on heating cable question. Okay, so this is a good one. Somebody actually gave a reference earlier, but this is a little different than heating equipment. Read this question and lock it in your brain because I'm gonna go away from this question and we're gonna look at the code. It says markings on heating cable used for pipeline vessels. Again, heating cables used on pipeline vessels shall be marked with blank at each end of the non-heating cable, marked within 3 6, 9, or 12 inches. So what it's requiring is the markings, because the other part of it is probably wrapped around the vessel or embedded, and you have to have the ends, okay, that you're going to be visible, and we have to see the markings on that type of thing, right? So again, think of this question. In my mind, I'm sitting there going, okay, well, I know that it is not fixed. It's not fixed outdoor heating and de-icing and snow melt. That's Article 426. And my mind's going, wait a minute, isn't there an article? So the table of contents, you can look up the articles for fixed electric heating equipment for pipeline and vessels. That is a real thing, right? That is something I'm going to just tell you to lock it in your brain. But you could go to the index, and since that is a real thing, you will see. Look under pipeline and vessels, look under fixed heating equipment. I think we saw it earlier. It'll give you a reference to pipeline and vessels. And then immediately once you know the article, I would tell you, do not spend any more time in the index. That is very small article. That's what we use a term called what? We use a term called bold scanning, and we're only scanning the sections and looking for relevance to the question, right? So for me, I could have gone to the index, and under the index, you'll see something that says fixed electric heating equipment for pipeline and vessels, and it would give you the article. And the article it would give you is 427. I would immediately get used to these things. I would stop at that point. That cannot, in our mind, that cannot be huge. So that's where you're going to go to it. So we're going to do that. We're going to go to 427. And here we are. And then notice it says fixed electric heating equipment for pipelines and vessels. Hello, ding, ding, ding. Hold on, I have that type of thingy thing. And then I'm going to look bold scan it. And what I'm looking for is I'm going to use the answers. We're looking for inches. 3, 6, 9, 12. We're looking for a reference to markings. Okay. And it's a heating cable. Okay. So we're going to be going down through here and looking, bold scanning. There's that. That has nothing to do with it. That has nothing to do with it. There's your bold scans. Okay. Nothing to do with it. Thermal protection. Nothing to do with it. Identification. Okay, don't see anything here. That's 6 feet and 20 feet. That's not in our question. All right, so this is resisting heating element. Okay, not really what we're talking about. We're talking about a cable. Okay, so we're gonna look at it and say, okay, we're gonna go down and skip down a little bit. Let's see here. There's power leads. There's flexibles. There's expansion, contraction. That's not what we're looking for. Let's see. Bold scan connections. Not really what we're looking for. Markings, boom, 3 inches, drew my attention right here. And then I can look at it real quick and say, okay, factory assembled heating unit shall legibly marked within 3 inches of the termination end of all non-heating leads. Okay, so that's all I need. In my mind, I'm like, I'm done, dude. Okay, so that is a factory, heating cables, by the way, is a factory made assembly. So again, just trade knowledge. Again, you're not going to get questions all the time that you're like, can't that question give me more detail? No, dude, those people that write these exams, and I'm one of them, in the States, trust me, when we all get together in a little room, okay, we're PSI. Let me give you an example. How do we write these exams? Anybody ever ask how we write these exams? They call us together if you want to help, if you qualify. You'll sit in a room. They'll give you a bunch of questions from the database that already exists. You look at it, and you try to answer the questions. And I used to turn to the people and say, guys, if we can't answer this question in 2 minutes or less, how do we expect somebody taking a test to answer it? And they used to hate me when I say that, because I would turn and say, guys, they would ask us, what's the answer? And we would do it. And it's funny, even experts in a room, you'll hear people giving different answers. And I'm sitting there going, that's not a good question if even the people that are the experts that are writing them can't answer it in 2 minutes. It's not fair to you. Okay, so I was the voice of, that's why people didn't like to play with me. That's why they didn't like me to be at those meetings, because they wanted to go there and have a 3 or 4 day meeting where they go to dinner and eat. And I'm not that kind of guy. When I go to meetings like that, I'm like, let's get to work. And then I'm going to get my ass out of there. I'm not friends with any of them. I'm there to get my job done. I mean, we're acquaintances, but I'm not a friendly guy. So I'm like, get there and get out. That's my thing. So anyway, that's why I'm not the life of the party. I can promise you that. I'm just not. All right, so in that case, we know the answer is going over here, and we're going to be looking at it, and it is 3 inches. Okay, there you go, 3, and of course our code reference 427.20. Okay, what did this here say? TJI says I look smooth over that one. There you go. Adam has it. Adam's throwing it up in there, 3 inches. Good job. Charlie says, you're the life of the party. Yeah, I'm only one here because I control the switch to be able to turn it off. There you go. There's our favorite engineer, 3 inches there. And John was on it. There you go, 3 inches. Awesome. All right. All right, let's do another question, guys. We're rolling along. All right, electrical equipment that depends on the blank circulation of air and convection principles for cooling of exposed surfaces shall be installed so that the room airflow over such surfaces will not prevented by walls or by adjacent installed equipment. Okay, so wow, this question. Okay, this to me, when I read this question, again, the index may help you if you go look under circulation, convection, maybe you're looking in cooling, maybe you can look at all these type of things under equipment. I'm seeing this one, guys, as a general question, right? A general, like a installation, not like an installation question, but for me, I'm looking at more like it is a general requirement for an electrical installation because it's asking me about this piece of equipment, okay? That's what it's asking me about, a piece of equipment and circulation of air. So to me, I look at this as basically a 110 type of question because it's talking about a general installation of a piece of electrical equipment. You got to be able to deduce that and say, okay, this question is saying, look, it's a piece of equipment that is dependent on circulation of air. Okay. So this seems like it's a general. I'm not looking for a specific piece of equipment. I'm thinking this looks like a general question type scenario. Okay. So that takes us to the NEC, and that would take me to 110. So where I would be. Okay. So in this scenario, I'm looking at 110, and we'll scroll down on the left here, and I am going to go down. And so for me, I'm looking at this and I'm going, okay, oops. I'm looking at this going, well, what would this be? And this, to me, has to do with putting the piece of equipment somewhere. Okay. So as I were bold scanning here, 110. And if I didn't know what to look up in the back, because it's a very generic question, but it is about equipment. So it's a general question about equipment. That's what got me to 110. Look at voltages, conductors. Nobody said exams are easy, and nobody said exam prep is easy, and nobody says nobody came up one day and says, we're going to have exams to pass licensure, and we're going to write them so that everybody can find the answer in the index. No, it's not the question, okay? So there's integrity, there's wiring methods, interruptive rating, short circuit current rating. We talked about that the other day. There's deterioration. There's mechanical execution of work. Ooh, we can have a long topic of that one. And then it goes down into 13. Okay, mounting of cooling and cooling of equipment. Right now, in the index, it maybe is something under mounting of cooling of equipment. Maybe there is something in the index. We're not going to go there today. For now, we did that twice. But you want to make sure that in that question, take the time to beat it up. That's a great question to beat up about 20 minutes maybe on this question. Looking at the index and saying, all right, I'm going to look at every piece of this question, whether it's under electrical equipment, whether I'm going to look under cooling or air movement, or I'm going to look under everything in the index. And that's what we talk about getting your money's worth out of a question. Okay. That's what we're talking about to do it. Because again, not everything is going to be just as clean cut in the index. And the index is not going to help everybody. But in that question, you're like, oh, that's a piece of equipment. And it's basically, I need to keep air circulation around it and all this kind of stuff. All right. So that's where we're at right here. Right. And the next trigger we're looking for is words: cooled, heated, forced, or neutral. Okay. And in this case, that's mounting, so that don't do us any good. So here's the cooling question. Right. Right. And we're looking at it. And so here's pretty much the verbiage in the question, right? So we know that it's near the top, and there's the electrical equipment. That's just like our question is written. So it says depends on the natural circulation, okay? There you go, natural circulation. So in this question here, It doesn't make sense to have these words. Also, look at what the common flow, pun intended, of the question. Electrical equipment that depends on the cooled circulation of air and convection principles of cooling depends on the heating. What would the heating have anything to do with the cooling? Forced electrical equipment that depends on the forced circulation of air. It's possible. So you remove these two, and it's a possible. And then you have natural. And if you think about this question, you're just thinking about where I place it naturally. It's not going to be next to walls or in an area where it's not going to get some circulation naturally of air moving, things like that. So you could use deductive logic on that one. But at the end of the day, y'all saw how I got there. It was a general question about equipment, and that's how it got me to 110. That's how I got there. And there is 110.13b right there. That was our answer. Okay. Does that make sense? Again, index is great, but it's not the holy grail. Can't do everything, but it might help your butt out in a pinch. Just remember the concepts of taking an exam, guys, is go through the exam first, answer all the questions that you just know. Maybe you learned them in the fast tracks. Maybe you learned them in the field. Maybe you're just that savvy and you know it. You see that question on an exam, for those that are getting ready to take an exam, you got, I get it. I'm answering it. Move on. If it takes you more than a minute, then you need to mark it electronically or write the question number down on a piece of paper if it's not electronic. And then go on to the next one. If you can answer it right away because you just know the answer it and go. Okay? The moment you get to one, it takes you over a minute and you're like looking in the index and you're struggling back and forth. You're like, you know what? Think about this, guys. People call me every day and say, hey, Paul, I failed the exam by 1 point, 2 points. That's not true. You actually failed it by 30 plus questions. So stop trying to focus on any one area that you think you're weak in. Just get more well-rounded in the code. And remember that while you're looking through the code, you're going to have time to come back and spend time on those ones that you couldn't find right away. But what you need to do is build you that time, that type of thing. Now, if you're in the field already and you're already licensed, why do you use these techniques of dissecting a code question and why you should be doing that to keep your skills sharp? It's because you're getting paid, and again, time is money. And so the better you can look at a situation and be able to dissect out what it actually is, and then be able to go to somewhere in the index if it helps you, and then you're not under the time crunch of an exam, then what happens is it just makes you a more well-rounded code person. And it means that you can get your job working quicker, get the job over, less inspection failures, all those type of things. So we all should be honing our skills. So this morning, these morning shows are not just about exam prep. It's about learning the NEC and maybe picking up something. Okay. All right, let's just get back to the question. All right, and because we'll have time for one more. There you go, and there you see our code reference. Boom. Okay, one more question. All right, guys. And if you got any questions, put them in the chat. I'll handle it, and we're going to be doing a drawing, so don't run off. We're going to be doing the drawing. Multi-conductor flat cable, blank AWG or larger, shall be permitted to employ a external ridge on the grounded conductor. Okay, so this is a multi-conductor flat cable. All right, so let's take you to me real quick. So I have a flat cable, multi-conductor, okay, more than one, and you have a cable, and there is the ability for you to be able to identify the grounded conductor based on these little ridges that are actually embossed into the actual product, okay, believe it or not, okay? So you're thinking, all right, well, how do I dissect this question? Well, remember the question, it's a flat cable, okay, and it's saying, okay, what size is this? There's a size where you can do this, but remember it said grounded conductor. Ding, ding, ding. That should tell you right away that you need to be under what article? Okay. The first one that kills me, the article that deals with grounded conductors, you're going to be the first one that gets to spin to win something. Okay. And again, I understand there's a delay, but you're going to all see it right on the screen. The first person that tells me the article that deals with grounded conductors. And maybe I'll do that in the future. I will ask a question, and that's how we can select people as well. Okay, because I got tons of questions I could ask you. Okay, all right, Manny on Facebook, first one to hit us with 200. Okay, John hit us with 250, but that's grounding and bonding. We're talking about grounded conductor. Okay, it's not grounding. Okay, that type of thing. We're talking about the physical conductor in a concept. Look, Simplex is in the house. Welcome. Thanks for joining me. Titan. All right, let's see here. So he's over on Fast Track's Tube. That's awesome. He likes it. James, do you like Fast Track's Tube? Okay. All right, guys. So Manny, you get the first spin. Let me make sure I put it down here for you when my pen works. Uh-oh. Paul's got to get some more than these cheap pins. Okay, number one. Manny. Manny Sanchez. My only Facebook viewer, watcher, ever, member. They hate me on Facebook. I'm a hated guy on Facebook. All right, so let's go over to NEC. And so remember what we're talking about is the grounded conductor. That was in the question. Okay, it says grounded conductor. So we're going to right here, and we're talking about doing what? Employ a ridge on the grounded conductor to do what? It's to identify the grounded conductor. Okay, so let's go to 200. There you go. James uses YouTube out in the field and Fast Track's Tube in the office. There you go. All right, so here we are at identification of the grounded conductor. All right, so the identification rules are down here in 6, means of identifying the grounded conductor. All right, so one of the options is we're looking for what? We're looking for ability to use the ridges. Okay, so there's 6 in there, and there's 4 and larger. Got it. Flexible cord. Boom. Okay. All right, here you go. Grounded conductors in a multi-conductor cable. These more or less deal with the grounded conductor in general. Okay, just so y'all know, like if I'm pulling them in a race with it. But when I'm in a multi-conductor cable and I want to identify, okay, right here. Oops. Went too far. Right here. Is it on the screen? There we go. All right, E, grounded conductor of a multi-conductor cable. Now, what we're doing is we're looking for what? We're looking for sizes. We already have got it. So we've got a couple sizes. We got 4 gauge right here, okay? And we got a 4 gauge right here. So here I see, right here it says for multi-conductor flat cables, all right? So this is in general for conductors that are 4 and larger in cables, okay? But here's the one for multi-conductor flat cables. That's what our question was. With conductors that are 4 and larger, an external ridge shall be permitted to identify the grounded conductor. Ding, 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 ding. So in that question, what are we looking for? How are we getting there? Now, we could go to the index, okay? And I'll just, craps and giggles, since we're here at the end, we'll go to that. And I'll go to the index, and let's just go real quick under grounded conductor. I can find it. So, I may promise you it's so much easier in your book than it is on this electronic, that's for sure. And we refuse to use a search feature. We're not doing it. It's not going to do you any good for an exam. Okay, here's G. And there's E for generators. There's grounded. Okay, let's go here. Okay, grounding, we don't want. All right, and let's see here. Grounding. Maybe I'm missing something here. Let's look since we're doing it. All right, grounded conductor right here. Also says C neutral again. All neutrals are grounded. But not all grounded conductors are neutrals. How many times have you heard me say that? All right, and let's look and see what we're doing. Identification, right here. So again, this was about identifying a grounded conductor. If you know that's the whole purpose of what the ridges are for, it's like an identification. So it would have got you there, 200.6, and it wouldn't have taken you long to find it. Let's see if there's anything else in here that would maybe be beneficial. Since we're here, I always tell you, exhaust your view, okay? All right, use and identification would have been 200. That's where we were anyway. And 200 is not big, so that would have triggered bold scanning, that type of thing. So anywhere in the scheme of life, that's kind of where we would have been. All right, so let's take us back to the question or the lesson. And the lesson is definitely going to be 4 right there, okay? And there's our code reference 200.6E. Okay. So in that question, it's clearly trying to talk about the size of conductor that you have to have in this multi-conductor flat cable. And what are the ridges there for to identify the grounded conductor? Okay. So you have to identify that we're talking about grounded conductor here. And that's what gets you in 200. Okay. Makes sense? Hopefully it makes sense. All right. All right, folks, that's a lot. Let's do some spinning here. So we got Manny's got to spin first, and then I'll look over participation. What's up, Outdoor? Glad to see you. And we'll look at some more giveaways here. All right, so let's go to some contests and giveaways. All right, Manny, you're first up on it. Let's go on and get you here. Let me clear this wheel. All right, Manny, are you ready? Let's do this. All right, Manny, you won a 3 years subscription to Fast Tracks Tube. If you're already a member, let me know. You can add it to get an extra year. So just keep that in mind. Email us so we can put you on record and we can add an extra year to your account. We can do that already up front so you don't have to worry about it doing it. It'll just automatically take place. If you're not, go to Fast Tracks Tube and register as a free membership and we will see it and Jeff will upgrade you into that scenario. Okay, so that's the giveaway. So Manny, let's go Fast Tracks Tube. If you're already a subscriber, we can add another year to that, that type of thing. All right, let's do it again. So now I'm looking at participation and along in it. And let's see here what we've got here for some participation. Okay, it looks like, okay, Paul Montoya, which you also still need to get your Fast Tracks Tube subscription. And make sure you go register for that so that I can add you on that. Okay. So Paul, let's see here, your participation in here. And in the future, I'll ask actually qualifying questions. And that way the first that answers, and again, there is delays. So again, it is the nature of the way it is, but we'll do that too in the future because I want to give away. And we're going to also be adding some other things. Just did. Sweet, Paul. We'll get you updated. Also added some engraved stuff here because people love our engraved stuff, like our coins, that type of thing. Okay. All right. Let's see here. Where are we at? Okay. The next, Paul, we're going to spin you again, Paul. Let's go. Let me get you spinning. Because your participation. Again, you can have multiple chances to win here. So joining us every day. All right. Okay, Paul, you're registered for the Master the NEC course, which is a course that's not just for exam prep. This is for every day. And it has the Fast Tracks Interact. So you could be in the field, you could snap a picture, you could log in, mobile, you can include it and ask a question about it. So it's an ongoing consulting type of program and it doesn't expire either. So that's pretty, we sell a lot of those and that's used a lot by inspection people that do inspections and other stuff like, so that's great. So I'm going to put you down for that. So that is that. If you already have it, just let us know and we will, again, that's for drawing. So the drawing is, as you see here, on March 31st. So that's where we'll be doing the drawing. Okay. And again, if you win, you can always gift it to somebody. Okay. That's not a problem. All right. So let's do another one here. Let's look at participation here that we have in our queue here. It's supposed to keep track of these numbers for me. So let's see here. Okay. All right. Okay. Abraham, our favorite inspector. It looks like you're on the queue here. So let me, if you're still in here with us, we're going to spin. Okay. And see what you get on yours here. Okay. For joining us. Okay. All right. Let me spin here. Spin, 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 giveaway. We will be adding more stuff, so always come back each day, Monday through Friday, see what we add. We're going to add some new stuff next week. So this little wheel is going to get very busy. All All right. All right, our favorite engineer. If you want your free annual subscription to Fast Tracks Tube, the best video platform out there for electrical, and we're always adding new stuff to it, all you got to do is go to fasttrackstube.com, register for the free account, and we will see it and we will upgrade you. That type of thing. All right. And then shout out to us if we don't do it within a day or two. Let us know, as I mean, we might just have passed it over, but we will get you upgraded. So you will get an annual subscription, $99 value to Fast Tracks Tube. So let me just write you down. And that is instantly. All you got to do is go to Fast Tracks Tube. That's FASTTRAXTUBE.com. Register for the free account, and we will see it, and Jeff will update you. We'll upgrade you. What is this goat? We have the goat in the house. Been lurking in here the past dozen streams. Thanks for helping me achieve my knowledge. Absolutely. Goat. Welcome. All right. Okay. All right. Let's see here. Let's give something else away. Let's do another one. Let me look at participation here. Go through the list here. And let's see. Okay. James, Mr. Simplex. We're going to pull you up there. You popped up on the thing. It randomly picked you and said that your participation was active. So we're going to do James, who is, if you're still here, James. We're going to do you now. Let's do it. Let's go. I should play my Jeopardy music while I'm doing this. I should do that. I will do that in the future. All right, James. That's a biggie. You're going to be in the drawing, whether you want it, or you can tell me privately. You can sell and say you're not interested, you don't need it. But I can tell you right now, you work for a company and you want to move up and you want to learn bidding. Okay, this is the best thing. This is a course on estimating. So this is great for those out there who say, look, I work with my hands in the field, but I'd really like to get better at bidding. This guy, Steve Griffin, is the definitive expert, and he's a friend of mine, and he is the creator of the Best Bid, and he's written books on the subject. You're in the drawing for that $500 course that he teaches. And dude, I want to go through his course. Okay. So, dude, this is awesome. Okay. Now this right here is the course. This isn't the software. You didn't get registered for the software, James. This is for the course to learn how to do estimating. He might talk about Best Bid, but his teaching works on all bidding software. So this gives you the fundamentals of understanding really good things about man hours and how to manipulate man hours and understanding materials and how you would lay out different things in your bidding software as well as manually and all that. So it's an extensive course on understanding estimating, all the elements of estimating. Okay. Now, answer your question, James, about the giveaway for the software. The software will be the next gen, the greatest and latest and greatest. Okay, then they both work very similar, but we want to make sure we give away the latest and greatest. But that's not what you're registered for, so you got to keep coming back and participating, and then you may get to be in the bid for the actual software itself. But you are, James, you're in the drawing for the course, which is amazing anyway. It's something that I want to take. I do. All right, let's do one more. Let's do 5, more than normal. Let's see here. Let me ask a question and be ready. Get your fingers ready. You ready? Because again, I realize there's delays here. So again, I can't help that, but you ready? Hold on, Adam. We're going to do one more giveaway, okay? All right, now, I'll make it easy for you guys. Ready? Okay. Ready? What is the maximum bending radius between pull points in a run of EMT? What is the maximum bends between pull points in an EMT? First one that answers gets a drawing. Boom. Miss Electric. All right, hold on. Hold on. 360 degrees of bends between pull points. Ooh, look at that participation. That's what I like to see, guys. And I think we're going to ask questions in the future because, again, it really gets engagement. And again, we're all about learning here. That's what we want to get our mojo going. Adam says 260. Come on, Adam. You know, you little got the fat fingers this morning. All right, let's go. Miss Electric. Let's see what you win. Okay. And here we go. Let's just do this spin. Miss Electric got it. Let's go. Miss Electric, you get a free annual subscription to Fast Track's Tube, just like I told, who was it? Abraham. Go over to fasttrackstube.com. Up there where you see membership plan, click on it and choose a free membership and register. And when we see it, shout out to us and let us know. We will definitely upgrade you. We'll be looking for it, okay? But we don't know who's who, so we need something to qualify it. And since I don't know yours, we do capture your IP. But once you do it, just send us a quick email and let us know you upgraded or that you signed up for the free account. And Charlie says, that's my wife. Well, that's cool. Hey, there you go. Charlie, do you already have one then? I don't see one. So anyway, your wife gets a free membership. Or if it's y'all, you can bang it up and you can get 2 years if you want. We'll add it to yours if you have one. But anyway, Miss Electric, go get your account and we'll upgrade you to a annual membership. All right? All right, that's 5 giveaways today. We're adding more stuff Monday. And if you didn't get picked, again, please participate. You're going to have more than enough chances before March 31st, that type of thing, when we do the drawing. And then, of course, you've got these instant giveaways as well. So anyway, all right, folks, that is it. Thank you all for joining me today and participating in this morning session. Hopefully you get your day off to a start. Have a great weekend. Be safe. Don't do anything that's going to compromise that weekend, right? Be gentle. Okay, don't go down into some pit or something, that you may never come out of today, because tomorrow is, and it's payday for many people. So anyway, all right, folks, appreciate you all. Till next time, stay safe. God bless, and we'll catch you Monday on Coffee Hour. We'll do some exam prep. We'll give some giveaways, and maybe we even discuss a topic. All right. Till then, God bless.